So let's talk about synchronicity. Let's talk about how you can create it and maintain it. Yes, synchronicity is not just a coincidence. A synchronicity is something that is unfolding in perfect timing, very apparently, every moment. Synchronicity is not just something that happens and so, oh, look at that synchronicity. It can be. And that can bring a lot of joy and inspiration. Synchronicity actually can be something that is presenting itself to you and that you're creating every single minute. Our world is full of synchronicities. It's just about how open we are to seeing it, how open we are to creating it, how open we are to really allowing it into our awareness. Synchronicity is always happening. I'll say it one more time. Synchronicity is always happening. It's about how much we open our eyes. Me and my partner were here in Bali, and we were looking up at the sky the other day, and we said, all right, name how many kites you can spot. And at first he said 7, and I said 12. And then we did it again. We said, that's interesting, let's go another round. On the second round, he found 20, and I found 19. On the third round, I think I found 35, and he found 32. There is so much more than we think we can see. And this is how synchronicity works. There is so much more than our eyes may just tell us is there. So the number one tip for creating and maintaining synchronicity in your life is to visualize what you want. So I'm a personal coach. I teach women the Mayan dream spell and other things. And something I notice with a lot of my clients is the women who see a lot of synchronicity, it's because they expect to see it. They almost visualize what they want without knowing it. And this is a huge trick. If you're wanting the synchronicity of more money or meeting a lover or finding beautiful objects or receiving gifts or receiving affirmation from the world that you're doing the right thing, visualize it. If you've read the book The Secret, it's all about this. It's about visualizing. What is it that you want to find? What synchronicity do you want to create? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It actually comes out of here. We just don't know it comes out of here. So we've got to remember that all the synchronicities, we've actually created them. We've birthed them in our imagination, and then they come into life. So really spend time with yourself visualizing what you want. And after you visualize it, number 2 is expect it to happen. And this is my favorite one. You've got to expect it to happen. It's like when I had just graduated high school and I wanted to go to New Zealand. I'm from the States. And I wanted to go on a gap year. And I was working like 3 jobs, saving up my money. And I realized how easier it would be if I got a really cheap flight ticket, round trip, like to New Zealand, because they were going for like $1,600 or something. So every day, for 1, I visualized it, and 2, I wrote it down. And I wasn't just writing it like da 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 da. I was feeling it. I was expecting it to happen. I said, I know when I wake up, my ticket is going to be there for me. Or I'm going to get the email saying, your ticket's confirmed, it was only $500. I was really expecting it. I let myself go to a place of expectation. That my wish was affirmed. That my synchronicity was affirmed. It was happening already. I felt like it was happening already. I felt like I had that ticket in my hand. And you know what? I got that ticket for $500 or something. It was a wacky sale. Normally $1,600, $500. And in that moment I knew I can create my synchronicities if I give myself enough power. It's not easy. You know, it is easy in a sense, but it takes power and passion and commitment. And let's be honest, it's so much easier to not see the synchronicities in life if you just look at it simply from a perspective of the world that we live in. It's easier to say, nothing ever happens to me, I never get any signs, the universe doesn't help me, I really tried, but it didn't work. It's so much easier to say that stuff than it is to let yourself get excited and passionate and expect it to happen. So that's number 2, expect it to happen. It is happening already. Number 3, to maintain and create that juicy synchronicity, you want to pivot your thoughts. So for example, when I was manifesting that plane ticket, there were times in the beginning, and it maybe took me about like a month, I'd be like, maybe I'd get home after a big day of work. Actually, I remember one time I had started this new job and I was giving it my all. And they like only paid every 2 weeks. And based on the way I started pretty much right after payday. So I didn't get paid for those first 2 weeks. But I was in good spirits because I'm like, 2 weeks, I'm gonna get my first paycheck. This is awesome. But then something like happened and they forgot to put my name on the payroll 2 weeks later. And I was so upset. I remember I was just crushed because I was gonna buy my ticket the day after my paycheck came. And I was crying and I was in tears, and it did not work out for me when I was in that place of, feeling really down about what was happening. And then I actually had a chat with my brother, and he doesn't really know much about law of attraction or anything, but just in his presence, and he said, it's gonna be okay, we're gonna work it out. And he gave me a hug, and something in me was like, pivot, change that thought right now. Go write your affirmations, go write your statements, get yourself in a good feeling space. So I did. I left the situation and I just said, oh, I've got my ticket, $500, I'm so excited that I'm flying to New Zealand. And this is an example of pivoting. We need to pivot if we want to maintain synchronicity, because it's not, our world is so instant gratification. Synchronicity sometimes, it will go slower because it will reflect where you are at. So something I'm doing every day now is I'm pivoting my thoughts. So I'm wanting to really get a strong body at the gym, pivot my thoughts whenever I tell myself, oh, I'm weak or I'm a bit soft there. Pivot the thought, I am strong and radiant. I am powerful. I can do anything. Pivoting our thoughts will maintain synchronicity. If we don't pivot them, we just crash to the bottom and then we try to climb back up, crash to the bottom. You gotta pivot. And the 4th and final one is meditation. Meditation can really help create and maintain synchronicity. And, you've probably heard this before. Everyone says, you should meditate. But the reason why is it helps us become more present, gets us out of our heads. Synchronicity doesn't really happen from our heads. And if it does, it could be a little bit delusional. Maybe some of you know those people who are just like, oh, I saw this color, and then I saw this number, and then I saw that this thing, and I saw that this thing, and it's all in the head. This is good, because at least it's looking deeper. But we want synchronicity to come from a place of, we're not trying to control it. We're expecting it, and we're grateful, but we're present to what's really happening around us. We take that moment, we take that breath in and the breath out, and really absorb the synchronicity. And meditation is a wonderful way to increase your breath in and your breath out, both physically and more metaphysically. So meditation helps you drop out of the mind and the controlling and really get present with your body so that you can see the synchronicities happening every single minute of the day. And you can start to create the synchronicities you want and maintain that life that you want to create.